Why couldn't Del Toro have directed this one? Pacific Rim Uprising, sadly not directed by Guillermo del Toro this time, but by Stephen S. D. Knight, and is the sequel to Guillermo del Toro's 2013 blockbuster hit slash monstrous success Pacific Rim, which was one of my favourites of 2013, by the way. So Pacific Rim Uprising tells the story taking place after the events of its predecessor, where Jake Pentecost, played by John Boyega, the son of Idris Elba's character from the first movie, he led the humans against the fight against the kaiju, and he has just said, screw my daddy, I don't want to be like him, I just want to live my own life. However, his sister Mako Mori convinces him to return to his father's legacy. She's like, get your ass back to our team, you are a Jada pilot, you are our only hope against the kaiju. While the first Pacific Rim generated mixed reactions from critics and fans, I am in the camp that absolutely loved it. It's one of my very favourites movies from 2013. I'm being serious. It's not only a freaking amazing action spectacle, and by summer blockbuster standards, it's a perfect movie for me, but it also has a deep and memorable characters, and it's a story about teamwork and survival, and any movie with a rocket-powered fist is a badass movie. Yes, the original Pacific Rim is arguably one of my favourite monster movies of all time. Despite my passion for the first Pacific Rim, I was a little worried when they announced a sequel. I'm like, if it's just going to be the exact same movie as the first movie all over again, then it's kind of unnecessary. However, if they do something imaginative with it and take this franchise out of generic blockbuster territory, then I'm all for a sequel. Show us what you got, Stephen S. D. Knight. You may not be Guillermo del Toro, but I trust you. And then I saw the movie, and guys, can we just get Guillermo del Toro back to this franchise? Because Pacific Rim Uprising, while there's nothing particularly awful about it, it's just plain mediocre and boring. What a disappointment. But first, let me explain my positives. While this movie is not good, at least it has a minor lick of entertainment value to it. If you're just looking for some dumb fun action popcorn flick, then you are going to be going out at this movie saying, that was awesome, that was the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life, and there's nothing wrong with that. If a movie just being a action movie, it makes a good movie for you, all the power to you, props to you, even if not all of us feel the same way. I don't have a problem with that. It's okay to love just an action movie where you turn your brain off, and John Boyega is certainly still showing himself to be a lovable and committed actor. I mean, sure, he's playing a similar character to Finn from Star Wars, as he has the exact same American accent as Finn. I mean, John Boyega's American accent is pitch perfect. You wouldn't even know he's British, but yeah, John Boyega and also this teenager girl who gets involved in the story. She was hilarious, and she actually brought some heart and charm that this movie needed. And but I have nothing else good to say about this movie. As for the rest of it, what a snooze fest! I dozed off throughout this movie. Do you guys recall the amazingly badass action moments from the original Pacific Rim? You know when the Jabers whacked the kaiju with a boat, and that one battle with the kaiju even took them into space. That they were awe-inspiring action set pieces, but this movie has no memorable epic action moments. The action just came across as noise, and the narrative is thin and freaking boring. It's the most predictable story for a sequel they could have possibly written. Yes, the script is terribly written. The dialogue isn't good, and it's shitty dialogue you'd find in a Transformers movie. Yes, I am making comparisons to the Transformers franchise, because that's what this movie is turning the Pacific Rim franchise into, and that's such a letdown. This movie is also too hard on Jake, its protagonist. It's forcing him to, you have to be like your daddy, you have to be the defender of the earth from the kaiju. But I'm like, movie, give him a break. He is free to choose his own path in life. The message, saying, forcing you to be like your parents is an atrocious message. It's the wrong message to send out to everybody. I mean, we are never forced to be like our parents. The path that they choose isn't necessarily the path that we decide. And what's underwhelmed me the most about this movie is how the story delivers absolutely nothing new. As Stephen SD Knight, he certainly is no match for Guillermo del Toro as a director. Guillermo del Toro deserved to direct this movie. He would have taken this franchise in the right direction, because he has a passion and a grand love of classic monster movies, and that was what the original Pacific Rim was. It was a homage to classic monster movies, unlike this movie. And what story this movie should have taken? Actually make the kaiju sympathetic and misunderstood, and actually have the humans, attempt to convince everybody that the kaiju aren't as bad as they seem, or attempt to find the kaiju a new world to live on, because the kaiju not only were they magnificent in the first Pacific Rim, but their designs were elegant and badass and wonderful, and the kaiju were solely lacking in this movie. They just made them into boring, roaring beasts to punch. If your plot's just going to be, giant robots punching giant monsters, like I said, if that's okay storytelling for you by blockbuster standards, then you're going to be sucked into this movie, but those expecting a deeper, thought-provoking story aren't going to give two shits about the story, and I hunger for originality in movies. So to conclude my thoughts, guys, Pacific Rim Uprising is a bore. I couldn't care less about anything that happened in this movie. It is what a mammoth step down from a classic monster movie. This one's just mediocre in comparison. It's meh. If the premise of robots punching shit is good enough for you, then go and see it. You'll be amused, but for everybody else, don't see it. Let's have our fingers crossed that Guillermo del Toro shall return to direct a third movie to make us pretend this one never happened. I shan't be checking out this movie again for yet a while. I give Pacific Rim Uprising 2 stars out of 5 meh movie. So yeah, it's such a weak sequel in comparison to its predecessor. It's subpar at best. What I'd suggest, guys, is just go and see Tomb Raider again. That's the one great movie to be released this March. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what do you think of Pacific Rim Uprising? And do you like this one or the original Pacific Rim better? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Google Plus and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.